Ever wonder what sort of wedding gown would look best on you? Well, wonder no more. Like most freshly engaged brides, the first thing on your mind is more than likely my dress, followed promptly by, I have no clue what I want or what I would look good in. Well, for the past 4 years, I have worked as a wedding consultant in one of the largest bridal retail stores in America. And I have learned the tricks of the trade and have used them every day to make sure that all of my clients and brides look and feel their absolute best on their wedding day. When you search for your perfect wedding gown, there are 3 main factors that you want to keep in mind as you shop: silhouette, feel, and budget. Once you get these 3 down, you're going to have the perfect dress for your wedding day. The first is silhouette. For every body type, there is a coordinating and complementary dress shape. So, for a petite or shorter bride, I usually recommend an empire waist to give the illusion of extra length. It brings the eye upward without cutting them in half which makes them appear shorter. And I also recommend with that empire waist that they either go for an empire or for an A-line or sheath style dress. These are both very elongating shapes, and they're going to also give the illusion of curves as well, to where if you're a shorter, less curvaceous bride, you will still have that silhouette that every woman kind of wants and look like a woman on your wedding day. Usually I tell them to steer clear of mermaid styles, because those are the styles that I talked about earlier where they're going to cut in half and make proportions really displeasing to the eye. So usually shorter girls stay away from the mermaid shape. If you're a inverted triangular shape, or you're wider up top and smaller on the bottom, I usually recommend an A-line in order to draw the eye in at the waist, or you can go for a ball gown. Usually that puts the balance back into your look, which makes you more aesthetically pleasing and will give you a better look than you may have imagined for yourself. Finally, for my tall girls, dear to my heart tall girls, because I'm one of them, we kind of look best in almost anything, though I usually don't recommend ball gowns for tall girls, just because it can seem like with the height and the big skirt, it just looks like there's a lot going on all at once, and it can be very visually overwhelming. So I usually recommend for tall brides mermaids and sheath styles, as well as a sweetheart neckline to sort of round out the shape without being overly dramatic and overly complicated, because on your wedding day you want people to look at you, the bride, and look at how gorgeous you look, and you want more of the attention drawn to your face than to your body and the over detailing of your dress. The other part of what you want to consider when considering silhouette is what you want your wedding to feel like. So ball gowns are very formal. A-lines are a little more relaxed but still very traditional and can be dressed up or down depending on the intricacy of the embellishments on the dress. Sheath style is modern and sophisticated, and though not the most common style, is very simple and very elegant. Mermaid style can be many things, from sexy, romantic, and modern, and also very beautiful and traditional, and it's all depending on what you want it to be and how you dress it. Finally, there are the short dresses. These styles are fun, flirty, and non-traditional, which tends to lean towards an air of fun and whimsy with a throwback of vintage glamour. Secondary, you want to look for the feel of the dress. There are many looks that a wedding can go for: vintage, modern, romantic, classic, fairy tale, and a myriad of others that are as unique as each bride themselves. So make sure that your gown matches the vibe of what you are going for on your wedding day and in the celebration of your marriage, essentially. Often, the easiest portion of the gown that can consider the feel when used in combination with silhouette would be the textile and embellishments. Often, dresses with lace and tulle are considered very romantic or vintage, whereas a gown with tulle and lots of embellishments could be considered more fairy tale and definitely more traditional. If you're looking for more of a modern feel, I would suggest going for an unfinished taffeta or raw silk or bias cut organza, giving that kind of rougher, more edgy feel without being overly thick and harsh and rough on the eye. If you're going for traditional, there's always the tried and true favorite of bridal satin. When you think of wedding, most people still think the white satin gown. And finally, if you're going for more of a casual or relaxed wedding or kind of earthier, outdoorsy, I usually suggest some sort of chiffon, which is a very lightweight material. It moves very well and is gorgeous in outdoor photography and looks beautiful when the wind catches it. So keep that in mind. And finally, I can't stress enough this point of setting a budget. You always need to have a budget in place when you go to a bridal boutique, because there is no worse feeling than falling in love with a gown that you can never afford. So, or that you can never have. So, once you make your budget, stick to it. Don't falter. Faltering from your budget can just make unnecessary stress while you're trying to figure out where you can take this money from and where you can add it to. Also, know your budget. Know your options for payment. Many bridal boutiques have payment options such as layaway and some sort of credit card. Don't think of these as an enemy, think of them as an advantage. Most in-store credit cards for bridal stores are often at least 6 months payment, or well, with minimum payments and interest free. So that gives you 6 months to pay it off versus, however much you have saved at the time. And it really can expand your budget without making you feel like you are taking it away from other places. Finally, you can use those cards for any straggling bridesmaids or alterations in store. So you don't have to worry about using these credit cards and worrying about, well, then I'll just use them at other places. Most of these cards are going to be solely for that store. And now that you know, remember when you go to purchase your gown, the 3 fundamentals of gown shopping: silhouette, feel, and budget. And now that you know how to do it, go out and find it. Go find yourself your dream wedding dress, and I'm going to be continuing to help brides make sure they find theirs. Have a good day.